dogs, and you are listening to Vegas Rock Dog Radio. It's a rock and roll show all about pets, people, and pop culture. And for once, I'm not live in the studio. I'm somewhere else, but I'm in an undisclosed location. And you'll get to find out next week. So that's why the show sounds a little bit different today, but it's still going to be a great show. Now, if you want to connect with us on the internet and you are new to the show and you're not sure where else to find us, this is really easy for you to do. So you can go to, well, if you're a Periscoper, you can go to Periscope and find us at Vegas Rock Dog. And our website, which is the main hub of everything that we do, is VegasRockDogRadio.com. Our Facebook page is Vegas Rock Dog Radio, and our Twitter account, get my teeth in, my Twitter account, my teeth never seem to stay in much on Saturday mornings, is Vegas Rock Dog Show. No W at the end. Our Instagram is Vegas Rock Dog. And if you want to pick up some rock and roll clothing for you and your pet, you would go to VegasRockDog.com. Now, we do have a blog, and our blog is the rockandrolldog.com, and that's where we do giveaways and reviews, and I'll actually be blogging about this undisclosed location where we are right now, and you'll know all about that on the blog as well. It'll be a really, really fun post. Now, we do have an app, and you can go to yap.us, yapp.us, and you'll download the app. It is entirely free, and you'll then download our show, Vegas Rock Dog Radio. Now, the show is on many, many, many listening platforms, from Spreaker, which is what we're on right now, iHeartRadio, iTunes, Podomatic, you name it. If you've probably downloaded a podcasting listening app, then you'll probably find Vegas Rock Dog Radio on there. And we're on about 20 different platforms, so you can take us with you no matter where you are in the world and listen to the show. You can either listen live or catch up. Now, we do have another show. It's a very, I call it a micro show on iTunes, and that is our pet tip of the day. And that's a quick 30-second blurb every single day, and a great tip that will save you money or keep you informed, and just be able to do the best for your pets with those tips. So find that on iTunes as well, Pet Tip of the Day. You'll find that playing on our main website. So you can find not only all of our archive shows, you can also find the pet tips, and you can listen live through the website. But today we're not in studio, and we are at an undisclosed location. It all sounds very James Bond, don't you think, Jim?
Quite.
It's very James Bondy.
Yes, it sounds very mysterioso.
But we will reveal all next week. So, Jim, how's your week been?
It has been quite busy and quite hectic, but we're doing something a bit different this weekend, which is quite nice, and it's nice to do different things.
It is.
At different times.
It is. Now, while we are on location, tell them where our dogs are.
Our dogs are staying with Kim's Critter Care, one of the top sitters in the Las Vegas Valley and the president of the Pet Sitters Association. So shout out to Kim for taking care of the 3 monkeys, along with her 3 monkeys. Apparently, our dogs go to the sitter and come back worn out for about a week. So very, very good. We come back from doing something different, and our dogs are wiped out and require less care because they're sleeping all the time. Here, I'm going to turn this microphone back around to you.
Yeah, it takes about a week for them to recover, doesn't it? Tell them a little bit more about Kim's Critter Care. Everything's with a K, by the way.
Well, you know, what's neat is when you find someone that you trust, that you know has a bond with your dogs. It's important, you know, rather than the commercial, dog sitting companies and kenneling type options. You know, when you can go to someone who our dogs live at her house. You know, they have 24/7 interaction with her dog family and her kids and her family, and it just gives us a comfort factor that's a lot better than the commercial kennel organizations.
And I think that's what some people really need to. Well, but a lot of people actually don't know about that kind of option. They think they're either bored at the vet or they have to stay in more of a commercial type setting. And people are always shocked when I say, "No, my dogs stay with the pet sitter." Oh, she doesn't just drop in a couple of times a day. No, they actually stay with her. So I know that they're under her watchful eye 24 hours a day.
Yeah, and check where you live, because there may be a sitters association in your community. If you live in a bigger city, chances are that you're going to run into a pet sitters association of some type. And the one we have in the Las Vegas Valley is a legitimate organization of sitters who are all licensed and bonded. I mean, you can either leave your dogs at home and the sitters will make 3 or 4 visits to your house throughout the day.
I'll stay overnight.
Some sitters will stay overnight at your house, or some sitters will take your dogs in as boarders. So you have different flexible options whenever you choose an organization like that, but always want to do your diligence and make sure that the organization you look at is legitimate and has a good reputation. Make calls, do your diligence.
Yeah, and I do know that this particular group in Las Vegas, they get together once a month and they talk about any issues that come up, if they're doing something a different way that works better. So they get to share a lot of information, and they actually share a lot of work with each other. Often when we've called over and maybe Kim can't take our 3 when she recommends someone, we trust her enough to go with someone different, although we try to keep it with Kim all the time. But I think it's very nice that they actually do share a lot of that work between themselves, when they can't do it, because it's a very, very good group of pet sitters, and it's quite a lucrative business these days.
Yeah, if you're thinking about actually getting into the pet sitting business, forming a coalition like that could be mutually beneficial for you, and it sure does bring in that cash for the people involved.
So, let's go on to our next topic, Jim. Here's my pet tip of the day. It's a little bit long, but I think it's something that's very important for you to know, and that is why xylitol is so dangerous for your pets. And I found this great article on Dogs Naturally magazine, and it's called "Blowing the Bubble on Xylitol, the sugar substitute that kills." Now, xylitol is a naturally occurring substance that is widely used as a sugar substitute. Chemically, it's a sugar alcohol, and in nature, it's found in these following foods: berries, plums, corn, oats, mushrooms, lettuce, trees, and other hardwood trees and fruits. Commercially, though, most xylitol is extracted from corn fiber, birch trees, hardwood trees, and other vegetable material. And although it's been used as a sugar substitute for decades, its popularity has increased dramatically in the last few years. Now, xylitol is manufactured into a white powder that looks and tastes similar to sugar. It's about as sweet as sucrose, but contains only 2/3 of the calories, and that's why that's why a lot of people like it. But xylitol is really bad for dogs, and while xylitol is okay for humans, it's extremely toxic to dogs. Even small amounts of xylitol can cause hypoglycemia, which is your low blood sugar, seizures, liver failure, or even death in dogs. And the higher the dose ingested, the greater the risk of liver failure and other complications. And the most common source of xylitol poisoning reported to the Pet Poison Helpline is sugar-free gum. I actually can't stand gum chewing. So there's no risk of that happening in our house, because I think it's a foul habit. But that is the number one thing. And here's my tip: if you do chew gum and other mints that have it in there, or other sweets, most people have them in their purse, their handbag, or on the side of the kitchen. Just make sure that you really secure, zip up your purses, hang them up, make sure your pets can't get into them, they can't reach anything. Now, while xylitol doesn't stimulate the release of insulin from the pancreas in humans, it certainly does that in dogs. And when a dog eats something containing xylitol, it quickly absorbs into the bloodstream, resulting in a potent release of insulin from the pancreas. And this rapid release of insulin results in a profound decrease in the level of blood sugar. which is that hypoglycemia that we talked about, an effect that occurs within 10 to 60 minutes of ingestion. And untreated, this hypoglycemia is often life-threatening, and there's no antidote for xylitol toxicity. So there's no antidote. The prognosis is good for dogs who are treated before those symptoms develop. So if you suspect that they've, your dog's got into some gum, don't wait, go straight to the vet. And it says here, so the prognosis is good if treated before those symptoms develop, or for dogs who develop uncomplicated hypoglycemia that is reversed rapidly. And if liver failure or a bleeding disorder develops, the prognosis is generally poor. Most dogs who develop liver problems never make it, and that's a very sad statistic just from chewing gum or mints. So to make things worse, it says some manufacturers are adding this sugar substitute to peanut butter. We know that to be a recent addition, and if you are buying peanut butter, which lots and lots of pet parents do, then make sure you read those labels, because they're not going to slap it on the front. By the way, we've added xylitol to it, and to be honest with you, you probably shouldn't even feed peanut butter to your dogs. It's high in calories and fats, and often, like I said, with xylitol in it too. And that's another thing we'll talk about is, I know it's a flavour they love, but to be honest with you, I don't know a flavour any dog doesn't love, really.
Is there xylitol in a xylophone?
Oh, I don't know about that, Jim, to be honest with you.
Because maybe the dog should not listen to the xylophone either.
Probably not. It doesn't sound like a great instrument. Anyway, so the first and most important thing is to give glutathione. Glutathione. I think I'm pronouncing it correctly, and it exists in every cell. It protects the cell's tiny but important engines, and the mitochondria is what they call those. This little protein, made up of 3 amino acids, is the king of all antioxidants in the body. Without it, cells would disintegrate from unrestrained oxidation. More familiar antioxidants, familiar antioxidants such as vitamin C and E have life short spans, and glutathione has the ability to bring back spent antioxidants from the dead and even recharge itself. So basically, it's just one of those common sense things where you have to give up the habit. If I was a gum chewer and I found this out, I'd give it up straight away. Let's not have the risk. But definitely secure your purses and bags and your countertops where they just can't go surfing and they can't get their little paws on that. So I must admit, I do read a lot of these very, very sad stories of, I had no idea that a chewing gum would do this. So share this with your friends. They may not know themselves. And we'll put this up on our Facebook page as well. That can be just, it's one of those so avoidable, kind of situations. And I talked about the snack bag, potato chip bag suffocation last week. Again, it's another thing pet parents don't know about. Share it with your friends. It takes a few minutes for your pet to stick its head in a snack bag, lick the inside, and then they can't get the bag off their head and they suffocate. And if you're not home, you've got your back turned, it can happen in a heartbeat and it's fatal. So share that with your friends as much as you possibly can. And you can find these tips, like I said earlier, on our iTunes show, the Pet Tips show, and let's try and avoid some of those things that just never need to happen in the first place. But wow, that's isn't that scary? You might want to check in case you give them anything else that what else xylitol's in. It's all about manufacturing in a cheap way these days, isn't it? And saving money and trying to get the same flavour, which it never is. Sugar's sugar. So that's one to be very, very aware of. It kind of creeps me out a little bit when it's extracted from birch trees. When you think about it.
Well, when you think about sugar in general, and there are some negative connotations with sugar consumption in humans anyhow these days, some current research out that they're... that sugar and sugary products are the vehicles for certain cancers and certain ailments in humans. Yeah. Obviously, pets don't need sugar. That's, why we've been big proponents of the quality of your dog food and reading ingredients and learning how to decipher ingredient listings and understanding that certain components of a dog food formula is going to have things that are sugars, and sugars are things you want to avoid in your pets altogether. Yeah. In addition to your own life.
I think that's definitely a show that we need to do with Rodney Habib. He's gaining a lot of attention for being very honest about what's in pet foods. Very, very honest, and I really appreciate it. And he has no problem pointing out the big offenders in the pet food manufacturing world as to who's offering not so great pet food. But I really, really, really like the videos he puts out. He put out a big one yesterday, and one of them was about taking advice from a university veterinarian, and the information was not right. So it makes it quite difficult when you go, well, I'm just going to listen to my vet, or I'm just going to listen to this person that says they're an expert. And you have to, find your way through that information. But he does that for you, which I really like. So we'll try and get him on the show, because I think you would really, really enjoy his delivery. I like it when information is put out there in a witty way, because that gets people's attention and they like to engage that way. So we will definitely try and get him on the show. Let's take a quick break, but we're not doing breaks today. Do you want to sing the commercials, Jim?
Toot-toot-toot. This is a break, and now we're taking a break while you think of your next topic.
I've got my next topic.
Toot-toot-toot. Coming back from the break, and now here's the next topic with the Queen of Rock and Roll Dogs.
Well, there you go. That's a first. Well, a week tomorrow, on the 24th of April, we will be in the throes of our 80s Hairball. Well, we'll be setting up at this time. Our 80s Hairball benefits Rockin' for Rescues, an animal advocacy 501c3, of which both Jim and I are on the board. And we raise money to help other rescues financially. We help take the burden off them. We look at who needs our help the most after every event, and we help them. And it's as simple as that, whether it's a surgery, whether it's some boarding fees, whether it's, whatever it is they need, we take care of. And we've done lots and lots of cool events, and this is our second annual 80s Hairball, and that means you get to dress up as your favorite 80s rock star, pop star. We have yet to come up with our ideas, because as usual we do a million things a day and we run out of time, but we will be in a costume of some kind come the 24th. It's at the Palms Casino inside the lounge, and it's a great space. We have our live band, Cyanide, playing. We also have Tommy Wind, musical illusionist, and his wife, who's also his assistant, Stacey Wind. They're going to do us a nice guest performance as well. And the tickets are a mere $20. And we want to pack out that place. So it's $20. You can buy them online. You can either go to rockinforrescues.org, and that's number 4, rockinforrescues.org, or you go to the 80s Hairball, 80shairball.com, and purchase your tickets that way. You can, of course, make a $20 donation on the door. We are going to have a unique kind of gift bag situation. I'm not talking the goodie bags. I'm talking about instead of a raffle, I don't even know what we're calling it, but basically you'll make a $20 donation. This is once you're in the facility. You'll make a $20 donation. You grab a number off this fabulous board that Pam Webb has put together. She's the founder of Rockin' for Rescues. And that number corresponds with the gift bag on the table. So instead of a raffle, you're actually going to walk away with something. And of course, we have our auction. The auction, it's always amazing. And we'll have our red carpet, and shooting our photographs once again is Ira Kuzma, friend of ours. We don't even have to ask him. The minute we put up an event, he contacts us and said, I'll be there, and we so appreciate that. It's amazing. So that's a week tomorrow. And we're doing it in the afternoon, 5 p.m. So no excuses about having to get up for school, as we like to say. It's a school night, because 5 p.m. you're going to be home by 8:30. Well, no, you'll probably want to hang out a bit longer with us. And it's going to be insanely fun. Now, to couple that, I'm actually giving away 2 tickets to the 80s Hairball. And what I want you to do is go over to our Facebook page, which is Vegas Rock Dog Radio, and you will see the post where you click on that and you're going to pop in your first name, I think, maybe your first and last name, and your email to be thrown into the pot to win 2 tickets to the 80s Hairball. And that's going to be fun. You got any ideas how you want to dress up, Jim?
I'm just kind of getting my ideas of how I'm going to get back in time from my...
secret location.
Well, from my gig.
Oh, no, from your... Yeah.
Because I'm going to be in Palm Springs that weekend for a concert.
Oh, that's the same weekend?
Next weekend.
I thought, whoa. Where's your concert the Saturday night prior to?
Palm Springs.
Oh, gosh.
California.
Goodness me. Like I said, we have so much going. Whoa. Someone nearly hit that car. Okay, so next topic. Here we go. I love these kind of topics. Pup-loving Canadian hotel fosters shelter dogs to help them find forever homes. And this article was on the Bark Post. And the Westin Hotel in Ottawa, Canada, has always been dog-friendly. And not just in your dog can stay here if you pay us that extra $100 kind of way. The Westin caters to their canine guests. They provide cozy dog beds and stainless steel bowls. The bellhops arrive to take pups for scheduled potty breaks, wow, or even trips to the park while their owners shop. Wow, that's impressive. And the hotel's latest endeavour has elevated them to a level far beyond dog-friendly. Last November, the Westin Ottawa partnered with Ottawa Dog Rescue to establish the Westin WAGS program and help homeless pups find homes. The lobby of the hotel has become a temporary foster home to a select number of poochers, comfortable enough to thrive in the noisy, bustling environment. Behavioural evaluations determine whether a potential Westin WAGS pup has the appropriate temperament to move into the hotel. Oh my gosh, hotel living. How fabulous. Oh, if you see these pictures, they're phenomenal. I will actually post these for you. The dogs lounge on fluffy Westin pet beds, and they do look nice, in a roomy pen in full view of guests and passers-by during the day, and they are tucked safely away behind the front desk at night. The Westin WAGS pen comes complete with a replica of Canada's centre block built by the devoted staff. If you see this, it's amazing, and has a tiny Canadian flag that waves at the peak of the Peace Tower. Westin employees dote on the pups with frequent walks and playtimes, but guests are also encouraged to visit with them. They can even sign out a favourite pooch for a walk. The more attention the dogs get, the better socialised they become, and the more folks that see them, the more likely they are to find forever homes. Yep, it's all about eyes. It's all about eyes on the pets. Since the program's inception last year, the Westin has become home to a pair of adorable roly-poly puppy floofs. A Chihuahua mix named Taco, who preferred to be carried around the lobby like a human baby. Yep, nothing wrong with that. And a variety of abandoned, abused and neglected dogs of varying age, breed and size from the Ottawa Dog Rescue. Small and medium-sized dogs tend to do best in the hotel environment. General Manager Ross Meredith prides himself on the fact that none of the Westin WAGS pups have ever snapped at a guest or fought with one another. He does admit that the 2 puppy siblings were a bit of a cleaning nightmare during their potty training days. And, oh, that's cute. He says, let's just say after the 2 puppies were adopted, we did some carpet cleaning. I like that about this hotel because they're not being weird about, oh no, we can't have that because, they're going to go to the bathroom. Well, yeah, puppies do that, and I think that's amazing that they would take that on entirely. And the dogs spend, on average, 2 to 3 weeks at the Westin before being adopted, which is great. Westin executive assistant Elia Villameyer says it's bittersweet to see the dogs go. On one hand, they're off to live a life filled with love that all dogs do deserve, but on the other hand, the staff mourn their furry friend's absence, until the next one arrives, of course. And Ross Meredith hopes that other Ottawa businesses will follow the Westin's lead and open up their doors to pups in need. He also believes that the presence of the dogs is a valuable asset to weary guests and stressed business people. What better way to unwind from a busy day of travel than a snuggle session or a bit of exercise with a friendly, adoptable pooch? I really like that idea. What do you think, Jim, about that?
That's a good idea. Gives you options when you travel. Always good to have that.
Well, I mean, I'd rather go to a hotel that's got rescue pups in it any day. Any day. But again, I think it's an environment that's easy for people to say, hey, let's pop down the Westin and see what pups they have available for adoption, because some people do not want to go down to a shelter.
I didn't think of it that way, but now that makes sense.
It's another location that's in a very positive environment, because that's why people get very weary about going down, because it can be very upsetting. Because let me tell you, shelters generally don't look like hotels. They don't look like Westin hotels by no means, do they, Jim?
Correct.
Oh, are you doing just the one-word answers today?
No, I have to flip the microphone, so I have to get things in quickly.
Well, I do know the secret location today. We're going to see a lot of dogs. We've already seen a cat, haven't we, Jim?
We have seen a cat in a baby stroller with a heating pad.
There you go. Who did I say it was? Because I knew exactly who this cat was. Do you remember who I said the cat was?
Couture cat.
Coco, the couture cat. And you can look that up right now. And she's a beautiful cat with most exquisite style, wouldn't you say?
She's quite fashionable, I guess, as cats go. That she has a sense of style all her own, and apparently is beloved by many cat people nationwide.
Yeah, she's certainly a popular cat. Do you want to take another quick break, Jim? One of your unique breaks.
Do 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 do. Take a break. Take a break. She's getting the next segment ready.
I'm ready.
Take a break, coming back from break.
I'm ready. We do have some wonderful sponsors on this show. One of them is Barking Dogs of Las Vegas, and they're up in Blue Diamond area, and it's a wonderful place to get your dogs groomed. They also have the self-wash, which lots of people use, and an incredible bakery, and some of the best products you will find in Las Vegas. Well researched, and Kathy, the owner, and her staff are very, very knowledgeable about all the foods that they carry. And if you have questions, you can go in and ask, and they will put you in the right pet food. And it's just such a fun place that people just drop in, even if they're not shopping, to say hello. So I think that says a lot about the community that Kathy has created over at Barking Dogs. She's one of our great sponsors. Another one of our sponsors is Carl's Jr. And if you didn't know this, you can go through the drive-thru with your dog, and they'll give you a dog biscuit. If they don't, just ask. It's really, really easy. But they are a very pet-friendly organisation that likes to help animal rescue in Las Vegas. And they have supported me for a very long time and the events that I've done. So I do like to give a little mention out to Carl's Jr. Who else do we have as sponsors, Jim? We've had Dogs ID Tagged, another great friend of ours, supported every single event we've ever done. And she'll be there supporting, as she always does, at our 80s hairball. And, of course, we're our own sponsor with Vegas Rock Dog Clothing.
Yes, we're an excellent sponsor.
We're always there. We've been very supportive from the beginning. Okay, so my next article, it's funny, what was I watching the other day? I said to you I'd love to be an archaeologist, didn't I?
Yes, you want to get the little brush, and you want to be able to brush things off and discover bones.
There's something
with a little paintbrush.
Yeah, there's just something about, because it's history, of course, that I really, 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 really love. And I think to be able to discover something, I was watching this show. I can't remember what it was about. Oh, it was about Vikings. It was about Vikings and Viking ovens, and to watch these people with their little brushes, as Jim likes to say, just in awe of what they discover. That has got to be so exciting. And then to actually send it for testing to find if it's real, and just amazing. So where I'm going,
I would be more like Indiana Jones. I would want to find artifacts and things of the occult and mysteries of the 1930s and 40s.
Right, okay. Well, this is where I was going with this. Is caveman's best friends is the question mark on this MSN article. Preserved Ice Age puppies or scientists? I would be awed too. The hunters searching for mammoth tusks were drawn to the steep riverbank by a deposit of ancient bones. To their astonishment, they discovered an Ice Age puppy's snout sneaking out from the permafrost. What's permafrost?
Ancient ice.
Oh, that's what that is? Okay. See,
Ancient frozen ground that never thaws.
Oh, well, I've learned something today. 5 years later, a pair of puppies perfectly preserved in Russia's far northeast region of Yakutia, and dating back to 12,460 years, has mobilized scientists across the world. You see, this is that excitement I'm telling you about, Jim. To find a carnivorous mammal intact with skin.
Did you say manimal?
I almost said manimal.
You said manimal.
Mammal. Carnivorous mammal. You say that 10 times fast. Carnivorous mammal. Go on.
I can't say it
Say
10
it.
times fast. It will take too much radio time. Listeners don't want to know this.
To find a carnivorous mammal intact with skin, fur, and internal organs. This has never happened before in history, said Sergei Fyodorov, head of the exhibitions at the Mammoth Museum of the Northeastern Federal University in the capital of Yakutsk. I have to learn how to speak Russian now. The only thing I know is Dobry din. That's the only Russian word I know.
It's not enough.
It's not enough to get you by. And the discovery could contribute to the lively scientific debate over the origin of domesticated dogs. When the hunters stumbled on the first frozen pup in 2011, they alerted Fyodorov, who immediately flew out to the remote Arctic tundra about 4,700 kilometers, about 2,900 miles from Moscow, and only 130 kilometers from the Laptev Sea, which borders the Arctic Ocean. Last year, he returned for a more thorough look and found the second puppy close to the same spot, farther down the slope. Both had died when they were about 3 months old. They most likely came from the same litter, he said. Last week, he oversaw the removal of the second puppy's remarkably well-preserved brain, the first in the world. Puppies are very rare because they have thin bones and delicate skulls, he said, and the duo have been named the Tumat dog after the nearest village of the site. Fyodorov said a preliminary look at the mammoth remains also found at the dig suggested some had been butchered and burned, hinting at the presence of humans. It remains to be seen, however, whether the puppies were domesticated or wild. The answer can only be determined by reconstructing their, I don't know how to pronounce that, genomes, which would take at least a year. And the question is, grass-eating dogs? Thus far, the lineage of wolves that likely gave rise to dogs has not yet been discovered, and it's possible that these puppies could be on that lineage, which would be very exciting, said evolutionary biologist Greg Larson of the University of Oxford, one of the scientists behind a collaborative project aimed at finding out when and where dogs became the first domesticated animals. What makes the dog particularly intriguing is that it managed to become man's best friend, even before humans became settled farmers. It is still
even before humans became friends with each other.
Yeah, probably. It's still unclear whether dogs were domesticated in one place or in several places independently, and whether the process started when humans took in cubs or whether wolves themselves gradually drifted to human sites in search of food. Whatever their precise lineage, the Tumat pups will keep Fyodorov and other scientists busy for some time. The second puppy's preserved brain will be compared with that of a modern dog or wolf. Parasites found in its body will be analysed, as will the contents of its stomach, which Fyodorov is particularly excited about. When we opened it, we were very surprised. The second puppy's stomach is mostly full of twigs and grass. Wow. This could really change how people think about food for their animals. He said, wondering if perhaps the animals were not exclusively carnivorous, or whether they started eating grass after they were trapped by a mudslide and began to starve. Wow, that's interesting, isn't it? This material is really exceptional and unique, said a paleontologist from the Royal Belgium Institute who partnered up with Fyodorov on the project and came to Yakutsk to oversee the autopsy of the second puppy earlier that month. The fact that soft tissue is preserved will give much more information compared to information that can be obtained from normal fossils, meaning bones and teeth. Now, the permafrost secrets Fyodorov lamented the long time it takes to get ancient biological material to suitable labs due to financial constraints, the rugged terrain, and red tape, which sometimes means that samples reach laboratories. How do you say laboratories?
Laboratory.
Oh, we don't say that. Only 6 months later.
Laboratories only in spook film.
That's how we say it. Everyone understands that the tissue of mammoth fauna loses its structure with every passing second, even in the freezer. Yakutia's melting permafrost is likely to yield up even more treasures in the coming years, he added, saying the number of reported prehistoric finds has grown several-fold in the last decade. Warm and wet weather and flash floods have been a big contributor to the thaw, he said. Right now, it's 0 degrees Celsius here. That could not be the case in March. As better transport and technology becomes affordable, he said, locals are embarking on expeditions to more and more remote corners of Siberia to look for the precious and lucrative mammoth tusks, which can sell for tens of thousands of dollars and are increasingly prized by Chinese carvers given trade bans on elephant ivory. Oh, wow. You try and ban one thing and then they move on to another. In Russia, indigenous tribes are allowed to hunt for ancient remains on their ancestral lands. Our land is locked in by permafrost, but little by little it is revealing its secrets, said Fyodorov. That's very interesting, you see. That would perfectly couple up the things I love. Dogs and archaeology.
Your latest.
My latest interest in life. So I think that's, wouldn't that be interesting to find out, whether it was from starvation that they had to eat twigs.
Your dogs eat grass when we go on walks.
Yeah, and then they throw it up.
Yeah.
So that would be very, very interesting. That's why history is important.
Archaeology is important.
Because it tells you where we've come from.
Archaeology tells you history.
It does, Jim. That's right. Yes, that's what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying. Wouldn't you like to be an archaeologist? Can you imagine if you found a mammoth tusk?
I think in my next incarnation maybe I'll consider it. But for now I got plenty on my plate.
I wonder if you can do trips to archaeologist trips.
You could. You need to get a hold of the universities.
Really?
They're the ones that do those kinds of things.
I think that's something I'd be really, really interested in doing, Jim. I know you're looking at me like I'm a nutcase.
Pretty much.
But that is what I would be interested in. What else do we want to talk about?
Let me think about what else is there to talk about today. Well,
we've covered the lovely Canadian hotel, the Westin, with the foster dogs living at the hotel. And we talked about Mel's best friend, the dog, and the scientists discovering these two puppies.
Well, I think that, speaking of archaeology and dogs and things that are made of fur, I can safely make the reference that Mr. Twix may be related to Bigfoot.
Because he looks like Bigfoot.
Well, because he has furry hair like a Bigfoot. He loves the outdoors and to roll in dirt. And if you try to snap a picture of him, he's blurry.
He is. He moves very quickly.
Bigfoot is blurry, so therefore, by correlation, Bigfoot and Twix are blurry together, so they're related archaeologically.
I'd love to know what his life was like before we picked him up in the desert. Who even knows? I mean, do you think he had other little animal friends?
I think he was a lone wolf.
You think? Well, not anymore. I'm just so glad that he lives with us. Well, I think what we'll do is we'll close out the show with this last topic. Now, I've not even read this at all. However, the headline piqued my interest, and that's always the good sign of a good blogger. They give you a headline that makes you want to read more. And here's the headline. It comes from mindfulstill.com, and the title is Why You Should Read Your Friend's Blog. And as you know, I write also, so I was very interested in reading this. It says, we all have that friend that writes stuff on the internet. I think they call it blogging, of some new trendy name like that. Kids these days and their need for self-expression. Oh, wait, I am that friend. In fact, if we are social media friends through any outlet, be it Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, etc., you're probably thinking, wow, Sam sure does post a bunch of stuff all the time. How weird is it that it's got my name in this? It's not me, of course, but it's got my name in this article. If you have read this far, allow me a few more minutes of your time to explain why you should support a friend in his or her blogging endeavours, or at least ignore them and not let it annoy you. It's free. This seems like a pretty good reason to support your friend. It doesn't cost you anything and means a lot to your friend. Number 2, when you click on their link to view their post, it increases their views on their site. The more views and traffic on the site, the more opportunities open up for them. You can be that person that opens the door of opportunities for your friend. Just click that link. Refer to number 1 if you are still hesitant. It's free. Number 3, when you share posts they write, it helps new people discover your friend's blog. Refer to number 1, it's free, and refer to number 2, which is it brings them traffic and opportunity. And if you like something they write, if you find it inspiring or educational or funny, share away. Number 4, it can help support them financially. If you could give your friend money without it costing you anything, don't you want to do that? Of course. Sometimes a blog has ads, sponsored posts, or affiliate links. I'm not saying just click on them, but if something catches your eye, explore it. Refer to post number 1 if you're still unsure. It's free. People make blogging a full-time job all the time. It isn't easy. I will attest to that. It takes time. True. Research, yes. Networking, and tons of effort. Even a little bit of revenue coming in can help your friend have more time with family, a lighter budget, or the ability to start saving. Number 5, it boosts their confidence. Running a blog, website, or YouTube channel, or any channel of social media can have its toll on a person. There are many naysayers and negative people your friends have to deal with constantly as their audience grows. When you share encouragement or positivity, it could help your friend carry on past the hard times, knowing they have supporters. Here's the bonus. When your friend makes it big time, they remember who their friends are. So next time you see your friend sharing or resharing a post they wrote, a video they filmed, or their social media pages, help a buddy out. If you like what they have to say, if you find it useful, witty, or moving, click, share, and or comment. We promise to do the same if you start blogging. I think that's a very, very good article because it kind of leads a little bit into people that say, can you just do me a free mention on your blog? We don't have a budget. Can you write something about our product for a bag of treats? Well, I'll tell you this right now. I don't think I've ever managed to really get a blog post out in under 5 hours. And it's not normally in one big fell swoop. It usually goes on for days because, like it says, it takes time. You've got to write it. You've got to fashion it the right way. You have to do your SEO. You've got to take great pictures or video. Then you've got to put all your tags in and a great headline, which this one definitely had. You've got to do research if it's about a certain product. You've got to put your links in there. I mean, it takes a very, very long time, and it would be nice if friends could just click on that link, have a read. You'll learn something, you will. It's free, but it does help in many, many ways, and you'll probably continue reading if it's a topic you really like and you get something out of it. There's some kind of a takeaway. But that's why bloggers who do this for a living, they can't, literally give up 5 to 8 hours to photograph your product, research it, write the thing, put the great photos up there, all the links, or everything that goes along with it for a bag of treats. That's really important. Now, I know a lot of bloggers do it in the beginning because they're new and they're trying to get something out there, content out there. But often that kind of blogger will reach out to a company. Yeah, because they're trying to get themselves going. But if you're a company that has a product, you shouldn't ask people to do it for free because it's so much work. It really is a lot of work. And once it's written, there's even more work to be done because you then have to set up how you're going to share it and get your content out there. Then you have to manage all of the comments that come back from that. And it's just an ongoing bunch of work. So read it. It's free. Give them some traffic by clicking on links that interest you and share it with your friends. It's very valuable. What do you think, Jim, about that?
I completely agree.
Yeah.
Because, it's about knowing, the time and place and protocol and what you do. What is your relationship with people? When are you asking someone to actually do work for you versus, to assist and be part of the community?